The government shoots Guatemalan children up with syphilis to murder them. The government this year is flying around the world injecting and giving children polio that's live and murdering them and maiming them. The government puts uranium in your drinking water and it comes out mainstream news and you're so brain damaged you don't do anything about it. We're not in Kansas anymore. We've gotten to the point now with these psychological warfare experts that they are out in the open telling you that they give hundreds of billions of your tax money to private select corporations. Free money in many of the cases, in other cases at 0% interest. Continuing. They didn't just give the money to Wall Street, but also to motorcycle makers, telecom firms, and foreign-owned banks in 08 and 09. Bipartisan. The Fed's effort to prop up the financial sector, reached across a broad spectrum of the economy, benefiting stalwarts of American industry. Stalwarts? General Electric's almost completely foreign. They've got more going on in China than they do here. By the way, that's in the news today. Bank of America will soon be majority China. And Caterpillar and household name companies such as Verizon, Harley-Davidson, who just moved to India. None of these people, and Toyota. The central bank's aid programs also supported U.S. subsidiary banks in East Asia, Europe, and Canada, while rescuing money market mutual funds held by millions of Americans. Yeah, you rescued them. They came out and terrorized and said we were going into a depression October 2nd to drive it down.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now, new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365. Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
I have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv. Hi folks, this is Alex Jones and I want to tell you about the Silver Lungs generator. Now you can produce pure and endless colloidal silver and deliver the solution directly into the bloodstream by breathing the solution through the lungs. The respiratory system is the first line of defense for airborne pathogens and viruses. The Silver Lungs generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced nano-silver solutions and also delivers the silver nanoparticles instantly into the bloodstream. With continued legislation threatening the sale of nano-silver products, you can now produce pure and endless colloidal silver with the Silver Lungs generator. Very easy to follow step-by-step instructions are provided, making production fast and simple. Go to www.silverlungs.com today and learn more about the breakthrough technology of the Silver Lungs generator. That's www.silverlungs.com.
defending the Republic from enemies, foreign and domestic. It's Alex Jones.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're now 33 minutes into the first hour of this worldwide transmission. This part of the song's too good. Crank it up for me.
So when you're waiting for the next attack, you better stand, there's no turning back. The feel the sounds, the charge begins. But on this battlefield, no one wins. The smell of earthquake smoke and horse's breath as it burns you into sudden death.
We've got coming up the CEO and head of Bob Barr's group, who is investigating the criminal stand-down of the TSA and their reported spying on their main media detractors, Matt Drudge and yours truly, Alex Jones. We've also got Max Kaiser coming on and Michael Braverman. I talked to Michael yesterday, and I'd already scheduled him a few weeks ago to come on and talk about water. We had Ventura on, of course, the week before, covering the JFK special. And he just told me about the full production because I'd consulted on it and been interviewed for it coming up tomorrow, but I was so busy I hadn't really paid attention to the full breakdown of the rest of the show while they were still investigating. And they simultaneously discovered the uranium in the water that separately I'd already seen years ago but forgotten about and kind of rediscovered 3 weeks ago when I saw the news headline in Texas with the federal government suppressed for decades high levels of uranium and other radioactive isotopes like radium in the water. But what they don't tell you is that's from the fluoride that they mine out of the phosphate limestone. That's the same place they mine for uranium. That's where uranium deposits are. Just search the term, where do you find uranium deposits? And you'll get all the university geology sites saying limestone deposits. It'll tell you the same place they mine for phosphates is where you find this. It's in Florida and Colorado are some of the areas where you find the most uranium. Then you find out about companies that mine uranium. It's the same companies that mine for the fluoride. But the public has like a defense mechanism where they can't hear this information. It's too scary. So it's just, shut up, there's no uranium in my water. Well, we're going to be talking about that coming up with some other big breaking news with Michael Braverman. I'm going to continue next hour getting into Fed aid in financial crisis went beyond U.S. banks to industry and foreign firms. And they just kind of hide it in plain view. Oh, most of the big media is government funded. The media has already gotten its, quote, bailout or its payoff. Meanwhile, the FCC and the rest of them are coming in saying they want to censor the internet and alternative media and talk radio. When you read these articles, talk radio didn't get any government money. This is not a free country. Taking my tax money at gun barrel to give it to Chris Matthews to go up there and try to claim I'm a racist because I don't want government health care. Think of how sick that is. And how they've hidden all this classic corruption. I've got another big announcement coming up at the 24 after next hour, that you're going to want to stay tuned for as well. It's a big announcement, so stay with us on that front. Okay. I want to play this video. And it is the search term today. It's the bankers or us. Just put in that full short sentence. It's the bankers or us. Or you can just put in bankers or us. We can get both search terms up there at the top. And it's a little 14-minute video we put together. We're going to go ahead and roll that now. And then I'm going to come back and continue to break it down. Stay with us. My friends, it doesn't matter if you're in the United States, England, Germany, Japan, areas of Africa, South America, it doesn't matter. We are all in the same boat together. The private banking cartel, 6 major super banks, have created Ponzi schemes. They have sold over 1.5 quadrillion. That's $1,500 trillion of fraudulent derivatives, counterfeit instruments, financial instruments of fraud. The IMF and World Bank are their international holding companies. Regionally, we have the private central bank of the U.S., the Federal Reserve, the Bank of England over in England. We have the private central bank in Ireland. It's the same everywhere, except for a few, quote, rogue nations that aren't controlled by this cartel. And those are countries being menaced by the globalist military. They are engineering the total collapse of society. I've been talking about this for 11 years, since they got rid of the Glass-Steagall Act here in the U.S. and simultaneously in other nations got laws passed so they could do this and get away with it. On the way up, with the thousands of trillions that they manufactured out of nothing, they bought up the entire infrastructure, the media, the defense contractors, everything. On the way down, they hold populations hostage and say, give us trillions more or we will implode the economy. That's what happened over 2 years ago in October of 2008 when Henry Paulson, the Secretary of the Treasury, went and told the House and Senate, there'll be martial law, blood in the streets, total collapse if you don't do what we want. Here we are 2 years later. Europe gave in. Japan gave in. The United States gave in. And now you see Ireland, you see Greece, you see Portugal, Spain, Germany on the edge of collapse. And what do the central bankers say? Give us trillions more, raise your taxes in your countries, cut benefits, and pay almost everything that you raise in taxes to us. But it's mathematically impossible. Listen to me. I've interviewed literally hundreds of top economists on this. This is a fact. It is mathematically impossible to ever pay back the 1.5 quadrillion. That's a conservative number. They know that. And so look at Ireland. Just a few months ago, they entered the EU. They were told, oh, you're a great economy, it's so wonderful. But under the EU agreement, they're now under the control of those private banks, and suddenly, oh my gosh, your economy's over. You've got to pay 20% of your GDP on top of what you're already paying to offshore banks. The head of their private central bank told the BBC that we want foreign banks to own Ireland. This is a good thing. Irish banks are up for sale. We're going to cut your pension funds that the government forced you to pay in for decades. We're going to cut the veterans' care. We're going to, again, slash road repairs, you name it, but the taxes go up. Everything goes to the private bankers. That's austerity. They cut the budget for the population. See, first they get you dependent on government. This is their system. They grow government. And this has happened all over the world over and over again. The globalists are done gobbling up third world countries. They're moving on to Europe and the United States now. No one is safe. Australia, Canada, you name it. The same system is taking place. That's how we knew what they would do in the West, because we'd seen them do it in the third world. We saw the economic hitmen setting up the same system. This is such important information, and I hope you're listening to me. There is no light at the end of the tunnel unless we do not pay these bankers all of this fraudulent debt they've manufactured. If we don't throw